Alright, what's going on, YouTubers? This is Zen here from Zen Multiverse, and I hope you're having a great day. So we are doing a whole entire big series, right? And we're gonna start off with Jaco, the Space Patrolman, or Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman, right? Which is the better name for it, and also the title that you see right here, right? So what is this all about, right? This one is for the teacher who passed me the math test face down and didn't think I was going to become successful. This is for 9 times 9 equals 81.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.
Let's go! This is about 10 to 11 years before Dragon Ball. Now, a lot of you know about Dragon Ball because it is a popular anime and manga series, but a lot of you don't know the prequel to it, right? So there's about 2 mangas that I'm gonna do a story time for and also theories about it. Have I read them all the way through? I have not, right? And a lot of you who know about the Moro arc and things of that nature know a lot about Jaco, and this is an integral part of this just the storyline, right? So we're gonna get into chapter 1 of Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman. So what is it all about? Well, it's about, well, this alien galactic patrolman who's on his way to Earth, and he has a mission. His mission is to basically patrol, but also, most importantly, to protect Earth. Now, why is he protecting Earth? We're not too sure. But one of the things that we see in the first couple of panels of the chapter is he's looking at something and he gets distracted, and because he gets distracted, he ends up hitting a side of the moon, and his ship crashes down all the way to Earth, right? But it doesn't land on any surface level, but in the sea. Now, during this time, we also see a gentleman, right? We're not too sure about the name of the gentleman yet, but what he's doing is basically going through his morning routine, and he goes by a gravesite. He gives his gratitude, his peace, and and he makes his way back, and along that he looks to the left, right? He looks to the left. Let me bring up some images so that you can see, not too many images, but just enough images. So he looks and he sees what seems to be just like a meteorite falling through the sky. And he wants to go help, but then he notices, he's like, oh man, I'm sorry for that guy, because he just thinks this is an airplane or something of the nature. So he's like, I wish I could help, but there's the sea monster in the sea. Now there's the big gigantic like sea creature in the sea, but it just looks like a gigantic fish, right, with sharp teeth. And he's like, yeah, I can't really do anything about it. But lo and behold, as he's turning around, he notices that this figure that fell into the water is rushing towards him. And when he looks, it is none other than this galactic patrolman, and he's holding the ship. He comes off the scene, he's holding it, and he places it down. So then he starts like doing all these poses and talking to this gentleman, right? And the gentleman's like, are you okay? Like, everything is all right? How is that even possible? Because the sea creature was in there. So he's saying that he's basically, he loses saying that he's an alien, right? And the gentleman, he's kind of not even like paying attention to that, right? So the galactic patrolman, he says, I need basic, this needs to get fixed, right? Which is the ship that he's on. He's like, um the food containment part, the engine, everything is pretty much messed up. So lo and behold, the gentleman who's right here, right, and conveniently, he is an engineer, right? And as an engineer, he's like, hey, I could probably do something about this. And the galactic patrolman is like, the blessings must be on me because I am an elite galactic patrolman, right? And the guy is just like, okay. So then he tries to look at it, and he's like, this looks pretty much impossible to fix because it is alien tech, right? Or not so much alien tech, but just, I guess, yes, it is alien tech, right? The ability to link something together using a different means of learning, right? So he then says to this guy, he's like, he starts holding his face, right? He starts pulling his face, and then the galactic patrolman was like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And then the gentleman's like, are you really an alien? And he's like, yes. and he starts to introduce himself as Jaco, right? Jaco, the elite, right? Galactic Patrolman. And he's doing all these poses and things like that. And the gentleman's just like, okay, and so he basically tells him, he's like, I really need this ship to be, fixed, and all of this thing. So he's like, I'll try my best. But yeah, they start to converse, right, about why he's here. And Jaco says, well, I'm here to protect the planet because there is something on the way that I'm supposed to basically protect the planet from, right? Which is pretty interesting, right? Because I'm going to get into that a little bit later in my end of this chapter theories. Now, one of the things that they say in their conversation, which is pretty cool, is like he knows a lot of different languages, right? He knows so many different languages, and he was able to learn them really fast. So the gentleman is like, "How are you able to do that?" And Jaco's like, "Well, um, we." They were able to implant it into my brain, and then I was able to learn the languages, right? Because we survey planets, we send different drones, right? Drones or like insects to the planets to just survey the planet, how they're doing and how they're coming along, right? Which leads into another theory, which I'm going to get into a little bit later. Because when he said insects surveying, I'm thinking about something else. And those of you who bought Dr. Giro, you know what I'm talking about. So, regardless of that, they converse a little bit more and they do a formal introduction. And Jaco's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "My name is Omari," right? Which is pretty cool because we have a brand new character who we haven't been introduced to, right? Named Omari. So, this is the character, right? On the right, you can see Omari, and that's his name, right? So we have Jaco and Omari, which are two brand new characters in this kind of Dragon Ball lore, right? Or Dragon Ball -11, right? But this is the Galactic Patrol. But as they're conversing more, Omari asks a question, right? That made me think. He said, Jaco, do you know what a time machine is? And basically Jaco does know what a time machine is. He doesn't have any insight onto where a time machine might be because he says that this is forbidden by the Galactic Patrol, right? He doesn't really state the reasoning, but we could conclude that, yeah, because time control could have some serious consequences, right? So the Amari explains a little bit more about himself, right? And he's like, I'm on this island by myself because I've been tasked with something. Originally, he was tasked with something, right? To make a time machine of sorts. He's an engineer. And he brought his wife along with him to live on the island. It's not as, it's not the best, right? But they have clean air, fresh resources, and things of that nature. But one day there was a gas experiment, right? And it wasn't so much his fault, but there was a gas experiment and it killed the people who were around, including his wife. So this is why at the beginning of the chapter, we saw him giving blessings and his thanks and gratitude to this gravesite because it is the gravesite of his wife. So Jaco concludes, oh, so this must be the reason why you are asking me about a time machine. But he said, it's great that you didn't succeed on this time machine because it's forbidden, right? That's all he basically says. So, one of the things that I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit, but one of the things that happens overnight when they go to sleep, because Omari says you could stay here for the night, is that, Jaco, he goes and he defeats the sea creature overnight, right? The one in the sea. And when they wake up in the morning, he's like, "Hey, you're awake already?" And Jaco's like, "Yes, I only sleep for about 30 minutes. I ran around, I sang the Galactic Patrol song, I did a couple other things, and I defeated that sea creature for you. So now you owe me. Pretty much, you have to fix my ship." And Omari's like, "This is what you do." You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool to see their dialogue, their banter back and forth, and these are brand new characters that I haven't truly been exposed to. Yes, Jaco, but not to his backstory, right? And Omari seems to be pretty cool. This reminds me of Dragon Ball, right? Where there isn't too much martial arts, but there's enough comedy and adventure to really say whoa, I can't wait to read what happens next in chapter 2. So that is the end of the chapter. What would I give it? Read it. Right? That's what I'm gonna rate it. I'll go read it. It's really good. and I'm learning quite a bit. So now let's get into the theories that I have, right, for the next chapter. Well, not the next chapter, or for future development that happens later on in the Dragon Ball series. Well, one of the things that he mentions that he's on his way to protect the planet, right? Now, I wonder if he's there, right? Um, because he knew that like Saiyans were coming or something of the nature. But one of the things that kind of put a sting into my theory was because, well, in the chapter itself, he did say a couple of days, or he said something of the nature, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. He said a couple of days from now, or a couple of months from now, this will happen, right? But we know that Goku, as a, you know, as he is, will come, but he won't come for another 10 or 11 years, right? Um, such as the lore and the beginning of Dragon Ball itself. So it can't be that, right? But it just leaves you, what is coming to the planet, right? What is Jaco there to protect them from? Is it a Saiyan that comes um, before Goku, or is it something totally different, right? Maybe like a space alien that we see later on. So we're gonna get to see that in the later chapter. One of the most interesting things that he mentions that really just made me think all over the place is he said that the Galactic Patrol sends drones, right? Which then looks like insects and things of that nature to then observe the planet and just get more information based on the language or living style and things of that nature. Now, in Dragon Ball, right? In Dragon Ball Z, we know about the androids, right? And one of the things that happened is Dr. Gero utilized insects as observatory base robots, right, to analyze, to gain qualitative and quantitative knowledge in order to follow Goku around, right? That we'll learn later on in the coming in a lot of chapters from now, right? So I wonder if somehow Dr. Gero from the Red Ribbon Army initially found one of those insects that were sent by the Galactic Patrol, and he found one of them and reverse engineered one and re-engineered it to do what he wanted to do, thus giving him the ability to have this sophisticated knowledge and I would just say this technology. And I wonder if one of the ones that he found had alien tech already embedded in it, and he used that knowledge in order to create the androids. Maybe. Maybe, right? One of the things that are going on in current arcs, right, have to do with this android, right? Um, but we're not going to get too much into that, right? In the coming chapters, we're going to go. But this is Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman, chapter number 1. And each Sunday, we're going to do either 2 or 3 chapters in one episode, kind of like in this format. And we're going to continue until we're finished with it. And we're going to go into Dragon Ball. And then after Dragon Ball, we're going to go into Dragon Ball Z. Then after all of that, we're going to go into Dragon Ball Super. So it's going to be a lot, but we're going to cover it. Some of the chapters, I might even do 10, right? 10 composed into one episode. So it's pretty cool. Let me know what you think about Jaco. Any theories that you have, right? Now, some of the theories that I'm making haven't been revealed as future plots yet. Notice how I said yet, right? But it doesn't mean that they won't happen, right? So we're covering a lot of these pre-stories in order to see if we could gain some understanding for the foresight of future stories to come, right? One of the characters, I'm going to give you a preview. One of the characters that we're going to meet is the sister of someone, right? And we know her as a wonderful scientist who married a Saiyan and had a son who time traveled. So with that being said, everyone, this is Zen from Zen Multiverse saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, you already know what to do, because you see that sign this way, right here, to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you all later.